I'm constantly amazed by how many annuity producers don't know these 4 keys that differentiate bad annuities from good ones. Before we get into what those 4 keys are in this video, I want to define what do I mean by good. And it starts out by understanding that it would be solving for your client's needs in retirement. It would be clearly solving for a problem that they have. It also, if it's a good annuity, it's so clearly good for the client that it actually helps you win more business. And also, you can sell on real expectations. That means you don't have to kind of sell this dream and often unknowingly deliver the nightmare. It means you'll probably be able to sleep at night because you know you're not overselling on expectations. You're selling the right expectations with a product that can actually deliver so that you know you're doing right by your client, which means you're going to have a long-term career of opportunity in this business as a annuity producer. And so if you want to kind of sleep well at night knowing you're writing the right products for your clients to truly create win-wins, then you need to respect these 4 keys. So what are they? Number 1 is credit rating of the carrier that you are placing this business with. Absolutely, there's no reason whatsoever to not write a product with an A-rated carrier. And often I see this happening with agents because incentives drive ignorance. They often perpetuate ignorance. And sometimes the incentives of your upline agency, FMO, IMO, somebody above you has kept you ignorant, or you didn't know any better. And the reason why is that if you're writing B-rated carriers, it's probably because it's all your upline or IMO, FMO agency is talking about. And usually it's because of compensation, right? It pays really well. And what they often do is they blind you with compensation. They overpay you so that you don't pay attention to the fact that this company is not reliable. Listen, if we're going to be principally protecting the money, the type of annuities we're talking about is principally protected, fixed index annuities. We're not really getting into variable annuities. I don't really like those products. I think they're more in the interest of the, broker dealer selling them than they are the client. I focus, if we're going to put you in a surrender period, a long-term contract, you should have the long-term benefit of principal protection. But back to the credit rating, right? If you're writing a B carrier, it's probably because of compensation. They pay you more so that you don't pay attention to the fact that this company isn't that stable and not reliable. If we're going to principally protect, we want companies that are going to be in business for the long term. The credit rating is something that we can rely on for that. So absolutely make sure the product that you're writing is with an A-rated carrier. Number 2 key is index crediting. And this really comes into 2 different parts. The first part is I really like to look at indexes that have uncapped participation, right? Great indexes. I'll get into great in a moment. That will go into key number 3, but great uncapped. And listen, that doesn't mean a index with a cap is bad, but what is the cap? And so you have to look at the index crediting. And the most important thing, whether it's a participation rate or it is a cap-based index, you want to focus on rate renewal integrity. That means that if the index goes out and issues at a 200% participation rate, that means that every year of anniversary, that participation rate is going to be at or as close to what it issued at. So if it issued at 200% participation, that means on renewal, on anniversary of that index, segment, a 2-year point-to-point, for example, it would actually still be 200 or be close to that 200%. Now, if you look at the great carriers, there's 2 types of carriers. Carriers who actually report their rate renewals and their consistency in that, in their participation rates. I mean, the products that I focus on, that we work with our agents on, they have often 95 and often 100% rate renewal for issued policies. That means whatever the participation rate was on the illustration and at issue, it continues to be, or within 95% of that. Whereas other products, and why this industry has such a bad rap, is because the product rates renew and the caps just go lower and lower. The participations go lower and lower. So even in surrender, the product can no longer perform, which causes you being the bad guy. And so you need to look at great indexes that have great rate renewal, which is not the norm. And you have to understand this at a deep level so that you can write the right products. Number 3 key is index forecasting. This kind of defines what is a great index. You see, most illustrations, you may not realize this, but they're all based on historical performance. And the dirty little secret, the lie that most people aren't saying out loud, is that some of these indexes were designed just to illustrate well on a back test or historical basis. And so because of that, you're selling based on what it looked like looking backwards, even if that index didn't exist for that period of time. And so the question is, you can only write a good product. You can only know if the index is good is if you can actually forecast performance. And so do you have a forecasting partner? Because every other market, every other index, mutual fund, and all these different things, there are professionals who forecast what they're likely to do in the future, given what that index or fund or basket of investments is based upon. And so if you can't see a forecast, you might want to question whether the historical performance is enough to be reliable for future performance. And we know one of the most famous disclaimers in this marketplace is, past performance is not a predictor of future results. And so what do we want to look at? Well, how does this index look like on a forward-looking basis? And so key number 3 is you need index forecasting, and you need to know that the index is in the product. So are you with an A-rated carrier? Do you have great index participations with great rate renewal? And number 3 is that index forecasted to perform well, not just look good on a backwards basis? So that's number 3. And then number 4 is worthy fees. What do I mean by worthy fees? Well, I feel that if your client isn't benefiting from something the fee purchases, then there should be no fee. The fees aren't worthy. If they aren't worthwhile to your client, then you should be presenting a no-fee solution. And this goes to index strategies like, spreads would be a way that they capture fees inside of an index. Think about an index that has a low cap and a spread, like you're getting hit twice. And so this speaks to the index side of it as much as riders and benefits. I can't tell you how often I see, agents kind of selling income because they're selling a phantom bonus to somebody who doesn't need income. That person thinks they got real dollars. They were only income benefit dollars, and they paid a fee for it. Post surrender, they're not going to turn on income, and they were paying a fee the whole time for an income benefit they'll never realize. And so that's an example of an unworthy fee, or just products that generally have fees in it that your client doesn't benefit from. It's way better to say, hey, I can give you great index performance in a principally protected account, and we could do it with no fee. You have a way better position. And so at this point, you understand the 4 keys: the credit rating, the index crediting strategies, the index forecasting potential, and are the fees worthy? Those are the 4 keys. And you might be asking, what products satisfy these 4 keys? And I actually created a training just on this topic at a very deep level. You may not know me, Jim Fisher. I've coached over 1,000 agents, helping them become top 1% producers, $10 million plus a year in production. My personal mentor did over $700 million so far, career annuity production. And so this training that I put together up until this point, my clients who invest thousands of dollars, sometimes a month, sometimes hundreds of thousands a year, they have access to this. But I want to give it to you just as an opportunity to earn some trust for like less than $100. I'm just going to pull this out and give it to you. There's a link in the description if you want my best annuity breakdown training that not only goes through these 4 keys at a deeper level, but also will tell you the products that actually live up to these keys that make a great annuity versus a bad annuity. So you can click below and grab that training for less than $100. I don't know how long it'll be up. I don't want my clients to get mad who paid thousands to have access to trainings just like this. So go ahead and click it before I take it down. And also, if you want to learn more about this, go ahead and watch this video right here. And it's going to tell you the 2 questions that you need to be getting answers to sell more annuities. I'll see you in that video, and hopefully I'll see you inside of the training. Link in the description. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe, drop a like, join me in the comments. Do those things. Let's grow together. Juice.